today. Good night. Ding, 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 ding. Interesting.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I don't know what either of you are doing.
No?
No,
It's okay.
It's okay.
She didn't grow up with The Simpsons.
I didn't actually. But most of the episodes that I watched that I wasn't supposed to have watched were definitely the Halloween terror or whatever things.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I definitely had nightmares.
Treehouse of Terror.
Yeah.
Rules.
Yeah, that dumb little lizard really got me.
I'm really ruining some people's day right now because I won't say that was a Monty Python bit we were doing.
Oh, I definitely haven't watched that either.
Yeah, but I just like there's people out there being like, shit, that's a what's Beach doing? Does he misremember where that's from? It's like we remember.
I just
And-
refuse to engage.
And that was a reference. And because I did that because in the episode there's the thing where Kathleen talks about her dentist having a hat that says Lion Tamer on it, which is that same Monty Python sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's a guy.
I think I saw one comment get that.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people mention it. They're like, but surely he would be an accountant, not a dentist.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's a guy who's at a like a career advisor, and he's like, I want to be a lion tamer rather than an accountant. And he's like, do you have any qualifications? He says, I have a hat that says lion tamer on it.
That's
like,
fair. That's fair.
good.
That's
He's
fair.
like, okay.
Excellent.
Okay, all right. So then, yes, definitely a couple more people who got it, and not just me going, I don't understand why these people are trying to be funny. Yeah,
It's entirely
got
reasonable.
it. Got it.
But those people that did get it commented and therefore engaged.
Yeah, I think you get like an internet cookie or something when you do that, right?
I mean, every
I
time you go
believe
to YouTube, they give you an internet cookie.
Oh, well, that seems like a low bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about video game news and our various efforts to trick you into engaging with our system.
Trick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the
Trick?
money losers.
I think we're pretty much just like, hey, could you just go do thing? That's not really tricking. That's very upfront.
It's the
I mean, we can do a
mean,
tricky way if you
I
want.
was gonna say, I mean,
What
to
do you
go
think-
to make the Simpsons joke again, we've got the subliminal,
Right.
the liminal,
And then
and then the superliminal, which is, hey, go engage.
oh yes, sir.
Anyway.
So you're telling me that Simpsons things really work around here?
There's like 30
It's-
seasons worth of.
It turns out that they have made a lot of jokes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because
And some of them were good.
I did see a brief clip today where Homer replaced himself with a robot. Not a robot, like a faked up dummy with like a recording that just said, "I like money. I'm doing my job," or something like that. And then he got promoted, and then the thing like lit on
That's-
fire. But I feel like if I can get a promotion with a tape recorder around here, you might see me doing that.
I mean, we might not give you a promotion, but we would appreciate the joke.
Oh, okay. That seems like more effort than I want just for appreciation. I can get appreciation by just asking people for it.
Yeah.
Beach, appreciate me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
See?
Consider yourself.
You know,
Appreciate it.
doing other work to get. I just ask for it.
Hey, everybody. So, let's talk about this week's episode of Checkpoint,
Yeah.
starting with farting,
Absolutely.
All right.
which is how you all should always start an episode of Checkpoint.
I had.
In fact, that is how we start every episode of Checkpoint. You just usually can't hear it.
Yeah. But Paul did have an egg salad sandwich today.
That sometimes that
That's
like
for later.
that like bass sound you hear, that's not people tapping on the desk
No,
accidentally.
everyone is upset about that. Yeah.
That's actually farting noise.
Yeah, you hate this. You hate this when we do this.
Would
Anyway.
you please fucking stop? I'm going to go
It's the-
strangle you.
It's the equivalent of like tapping on the glass.
Yep. And I had a big bowl of fiber enhanced cereal today. So yeah, I think that at least 2 out of 3 of us are equipped to make a difference.
I ate a bagel. Is that not fart material?
I don't know if it is. It's,
Dang it.
It's just hard
Did
carbs.
I fail the assignment?
Depends what's on the bagel, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, next time I'll eat beans.
And you're having tea?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
tea's not really
It really isn't. Coffee is the thing that'll keep you want your system
That's
to
not
start.
like a fart inducer. It's
No,
more
no.
of a, now you have to go to the bathroom.
Exactly. So the thing here was
Nobody told me there was fart homework.
based on what Paul had produced to put into the doc. I realized that, well, wait, there's a Tomodachi Life story for that new life sim. There's an Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's Animal Crossing's 25th anniversary. So there's that, and I was like, is there a Pocopia story? And I was like, damn it, there isn't. Never mind, I'll mention it anyway.
Who says we need a story?
Exactly. And so, but the Tomodachi Life story is that among the many interesting things that are in that interview, the one that stands out is, we actually had to have, we ended up having a big debate internally during development to decide whether to put farting into the game or not. And I mean, scatological humor is definitely something that I think everybody around the world shares, and they all have a different level of disdain for it.
I think the thing that you really don't know most of the time, though, is that I think every video game developer, at some point, while they're working on the game that they're currently working on, there is at least a brief discussion of whether or not farting should be in the game.
It's like, can you pet the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Can you
was,
fart?
Yeah.
What was the game? There was a story probably a couple of years ago now. There was a game where it was like a third-person action game, like an arena shooter or something.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a thing where if you crouch,
Oh,
there was like a 1 in 1,000
yeah.
chance
I think that was.
that it would play a fart noise.
I think that was Splitgate, which then had.
I think you're right.
Had other issues.
And then they messed up so that the chances of farting were like way higher than they wanted to do.
Oh no, they messed up by having that guy stand on stage with "Make FPS is great again."
I mean that too.
Yeah,
The
it's a common mistake to let certain people do your PR,
there was a game
which
years
we'll get
ago.
into later.
I mean, there was a whole there's a whole category of games that got enhanced with farting back in the 90s, like basically in the 16-bit era. That was like, we have to inject a lot of farting into these games and a lot of like disgusting bodily stuff.
I was gonna say Nintendo. People are like, surprising that Nintendo would do something. It's like Nintendo made the Wario games.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fart part thing's not really.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking a lot about. What's his name? The developer the guy behind Katamari.
Sorry.
And Nabi Nabi Boy.
Yep. Nobi Boy, and Watum.
To a T is his new one.
Yeah.
Right, because isn't Watum literally piles of crap that are going around?
You can get a toilet and poop goes everywhere. I believe there is.
I always recognize
I can't remember if it's a farting function or not. I know there is a thing where you can make the mayor go up into the air and do things with his hats
and become poop. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's precedent, is what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tomodachi Life seems like the kind of game that I would be surprised if it wasn't in there.
Yeah, if it showed up in Pocopia for not your character, but if a character in the game did, maybe it's a special Pokemon attack, I don't know. But if it was something that a Pokemon did in that game, I'd be more surprised to see it there than I would be in Tomodachi Life. It's a weird feeling.
I think it'd be really cute if Pikmin farted.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's how you find them.
Mm-hmm.
They pop out of the ground.
There's
listen. Oh, there's one.
There'd be there's. It's weird to think that it's in Tomodachi Life it makes sense that your Miis could have the ability to do that, but in other games that in Animal Crossing I'd be like, oh, that would be scandalous if Marshall was walking around and then farted or something for some reason. It'd be like, no, we can't have that. That's not okay.
Is there is one of the Animal Crossing characters like a skunk?
No, they don't really do. They don't really do like the whole.
I feel like there's a squirrel who might have the coloring that
You
might look at
there
and say,
is.
say that's a skunk, but I think it's a squirrel.
What's her name?
Oh, there's like over 400 Animal Crossing
No,
characters.
she showed up in my game one time. What the hell's her name again? Oh my god, and she's so cute. But she has the skunk coloration. Yeah. Because it was like they didn't really do like
But she's
mustelids and stuff. In
Technically
that.
a squirrel.
Yeah, they kind of fold in like
They
the
have, like,
squirrels and
basically specific animals, and then they kind of get
yeah.
different colors and
You unlock the museum in Animal Crossing, right? Paul?
I haven't played Animal
I
Crossing.
thought you had played New Horizons. So when you unlock the
I
museum,
was like, you're looking at me?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was like, really?
when you unlock the museum in Animal Crossing in New Horizons anyway, because that's the one that I played. I'm thinking of Tasha. Thank you. Thank you. The Meerkat. There is a section where all the fossils go in the museum, and then as you're putting in all the fossils and stuff as you're touring the museum, if you go down one of the corridors to the next room, there is you're following this pathway, and the pathway gets to a certain point and branches off into like 9 or 10 different lines that go up the wall, and each one of them has a silhouette of a different type of animal that's in the game, and I think you're also one of them as well.
There's a spot where you stand on, and when you stand on it
The spotlight comes on you because it's meant to be like, because in this game there are squirrels and there are cats and there are dogs and there are octopus and like all these different kind of things because they're all evolutions of like some sort of common ancestor, and then you go stand in your spot and the spotlight comes on, and and you are the villager type.
And of course, speaking of Animal Crossing, they had this the 25th anniversary, which I know some people don't worry, it hasn't been 25 years since Animal Crossing New Horizons came out.
Yeah,
New Horizons is the game that a lot of people jumped up on, though. So I feel like for some, even if they knew there was a previous version, I think 25 years might be surprising to some people.
Yeah. I mean, we are at like 6 years since New Horizons.
Yeah.
Whatever, 6 or 7 years. But anyway, don't worry. It hasn't been 25 years since New Horizons came out. But Animal Crossing obviously existed before that. So yeah, and they have just a giant leaf.
Yeah.
Which just kind of shows up at your place.
Yeah, just shows up in your mail, and you take it out, and you're like, I have this thing now, and what do I do with it? And it was kind of like, I'm like, oh, that's neat that they're doing a commemorative thing, but that's kind of it.
In Animal
Felt a little
Crossing,
disappointing.
All of your furniture will basically turn into a tiny leaf that you stuff in your pockets. And if you watch a lot of anime or whatnot, you see that this is kind of a thing amongst it's usually like Tanuki and Kitsune and stuff where it's an illusion, right? They'll take a leaf and they'll make it look like something,
and then they'll use that to trick a human and be like, here, have this thing that I'm giving you,
have some money or whatever, and it's not really
right.
really whatever. So in a weird way, this is consistent.
Except it's a leaf that turns into a leaf.
Giant statue.
A giant statue.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it did. There is we talked about this idea a little when the Animal Crossing 3.0 update came out, and everyone, there was that like, oh, I feel bad about my having neglected my Animal Crossing place.
But I don't have to go back because there's no real reason unless I really want to play the update. And it's like, well, now you can get a thing because you're getting a special thing, and I'm like, oh no.
Apparently, and because I was for the shoulder graphics for this, I wanted like a picture of Animal Crossing island that was kind of overgrown with weeds.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And over the course of that, for one thing, I encountered the contingent of people that go, you know what? I want weeds. Why do we have to keep getting rid of all the weeds? I think they look cool.
Right.
Yeah, well, especially in Horizons where they look like big, tall, like feathers and things and whatever.
There's like 7 or 8 different types of weeds I think that show up in the game at like you can have
and they can look pretty neat.
And you can pluck them out of the ground and you can go plant them somewhere else. I think wasn't that what was happening?
I think in Horizons you can, yeah.
Yeah, Meg, our friend Meg, she spent a lot of time decorating her island during the pandemic, and had made some incredible looking stuff, and using weeds as a natural way to add, like, because you can make very trimmed, curated foliage, right? And you can decorate paths and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, I can leave. Like put a dirt path and I can have weeds and stuff growing along the side of it, and actually feels way more natural to the space that I'm trying to create.
Right.
And I remember visiting her island and was just kind of blown away by, wow, you can really use these for great aesthetic effect. I go around and pick them all up because I don't want them on like being out.
Right.
But they actually look better when they're there.
The picture, and so the other thing I found out is that apparently if you have too many weeds on your island, there's like a little sloth guy who shows up.
Yeah, Leaf. No.
Who offers to weed your plants for you.
Yep.
Which
and takes your money.
I was gonna say, but I was gonna say the fact that it's a sloth I find very funny. Just as like, it's like, oh great, I need these weeds gotten rid of right away.
You betcha,
So
sir.
in really old Animal Crossing, apparently if you let weeds build up, they would make these giant flowers that are really awful, and like
really?
in real life they're like quite potent in
The
in
corpse
smell.
flower, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Holy
wow.
crap!
I think so.
Neat. Rafflesia, yes.
Yeah, so I don't think they do that anymore. But apparently that used to be a thing where if you weren't tidying up your weeds, things like that would show up, and I don't know if they were easy to get rid of or.
That's so cool.
Also, now that I think about it, and think about like weeding a garden, I don't think they do it, but the sloth claw is actually quite well suited for.
Yeah.
They would actually be very good at weeding things. I mean, they're mostly in trees and stuff, so it probably doesn't come up very often.
It's not a natural thing, but yeah.
But so anyway, the image that I ended up getting was just from somebody who posted, but they posted that image and they were like, hey, here's my, it was just like this area that was just completely covered in weeds, and they're like, but what's his name, Leaf won't come. He says I don't have enough weeds.
Oh my God! Right? Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, and then of course.
Oh wait, actually,
sorry.
the other thing about Tomodachi Life, which I thought was interesting. Go look at the interview. When I went and read the interview, I'm not going to go look at it or not. It's interesting.
It's one of those ask the developer interviews on the Nintendo website. If
So
you're looking for it.
The developers, in the process of testing Tomodachi Life, they made their own island to run internally within the company, and they shared screenshots of it. And what they had done to make their developer island is. Half the island, the top half of the island is all like green and and has like trees and has a beach and has whatever, and the other half is completely perfectly squared off and is just gray. It's just
like a testing area.
It's Nintendo's offices.
They made their offices inside
modeled their office, the office building, and their offices in the office building. They just modeled that on the second half of the island, the lower half of the island, which I was very drawn to because I was like, like anything else, when you try to like when people started learning how to model 3D spaces and stuff, like in Doom, they're like, I'm going to make my school. I'm going to, like that kind of thing. It's like, great. Don't think about the implications. And, but people would always like make familiar spaces, and then they do their best to make them as familiar and as realistic to the thing as possible. What can I actually do? So I'm like, they are clearly like, I bet you they're trying to make this space feel as much like their actual job as possible. So to me, it was like, you don't get to see inside Nintendo almost ever. Like they don't go around showing what the interior offices look like that often. I'm like, I finally now have a look at this is what it's like. There's like these long hallways, and on either side there's just offices that
it's mostly going to be office space rooms and things.
Yeah, and I expect it's going to be like, oh well, it'll be like you see in anime where it's like two people sitting across from each other all the way down, and then at the very end there's a dude on a desk who's facing down the whole way, and he's like the team manager or whatever, and everybody else is working. And it's like, it's not like that. It's all individual carols that all like kind of face the same direction, and everybody works. And as I was clicking on the things and having a look, there was a piece of white text in English at the bottom of some of these that say some elements have been blurred out to mask or to whatever, but to mask Nintendo development details.
Ooh.
And I'm kind of like,
is that
things that are coming later in Tomodachi Life?
And I think what it is that because you can draw and do some of your own shit, that people may have personalized their desks to add in things that, because it's just a shared thing between them, that we're not supposed to know about yet.
Or what if the part that is like, it's not Tomodachi Life information, it's that they were too accurate, and it's like we've blurred and moved some stuff because this actually shows where like the CEO's office is, and like what window you would need to look in to see into his stuff,
or like,
and we don't actually want that to be public information.
Or like somebody was like, they modeled, it's like how we have like your whiteboard in your office has our whole timeline on it for like the month,
like
for at least 5 weeks.
Yeah, they modeled like that, that accurately.
Yeah, and it's like there's some stuff on there that says what we're doing next year, which we're not supposed to let anybody know.
It's why sometimes when we film in there, we will erase things or cover things, or my favorite is when we
put fake things in.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a few of those built into the interview, and I got really excited about those and wanted to talk about them in the story, and then realized that would just make my story incredibly long for no reason. So you get to hear about them here.
I mean, if we were doing live intros, like we did during the pandemic, where they were video game related, we could probably get like a Pocopia one and like a Tomodachi one and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, has James or Serge done the new Moonbase in Minecraft? I know we did. I know we did Mark V in Minecraft.
I don't know if they done the new one.
I don't know if the new one has shown up.
Chat, did they do the new one? You guys know better because we're not watching their Minecraft stuff.
Yeah, because
you probably are.
By the time we moved here, the pandemic was waning because we had a vaccine. At that point.
I mean, not to do with the like fly-throughs.
Oh, okay.
But just
in general.
Yeah, they used to do it.
James has made all of the moon bases in Minecraft just as like a fun thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like, and I know sometimes he'd do it on 9 o'clock, but yeah, don't recall him doing it on 9
o'clock.
o'clock.
To point that out to him as a thing to do the next time Twitch does a Minecraft sponsor.
James knows how to do his own.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, he'd do it. I don't want to dictate to someone to do a thing that they were doing.
Probably
for fun.
not even thinking about it. Just mentions like, have you done Mark V yet?
It turns
Mark
out
6.
Yeah, it turns out.
Forgot which one we were in. Were you?
I did.
Every time he punches a chunk, that's actually Mark 6 is just a big hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Hackers.
Yeah.
Always a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Unless it is the awesome 1995 movie Hackers. Which I love. Somebody in the comments was saying that like how it's not necessarily like influential, but like how deep embedded in the consciousness of the sort of hacking community that like in the present day at like DEF CON and like hacker conventions, there will often be like a screening of Hackers.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I feel in a way that it is loving irony. Like that's why it is.
Obviously,
because they're like, this movie is bullshit from one end to the other, but it does have Angelina Jolie showing off her boobs in it, and also it's like makes these guys look effortlessly cool.
And it's one of those movies where there's like certain elements of it that are like weirdly specifically correct. But then other things where they just totally made stuff up. Yeah. So like they had, consultations or something for some of it, but not for whatever.
Yeah, and
it is a good bad movie.
I mean, when you're making a movie or you're doing a story, sometimes you sacrifice reality.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like,
I mean, like,
how many
hacking is kind of not that.
I mean, we do it for filming, right? Like, how many times do you watch people play video games where it's like,
yeah,
something like really over exaggerated?
hacking is fundamentally not a very visually exciting thing.
Yeah.
And so you always have to come up with, and obviously in 1995, even more so, they didn't really know how to depict it well.
Yeah.
Although a few things that I would like to point out is one, Graham mentions the like using robots to fight over VHS tapes. Like that's a real thing. Like the
in the movie or just in general, people fight robots over VHS tapes.
In like what that's referencing is I believe it's either in Toronto or in Ottawa in Canada. They don't use it this way anymore because it is an incredibly inefficient system.
It's a television archive thing?
But there used to be, like the NFB television archive was a system with, they had tapes. They were probably beta tapes rather than VHS
tapes, yeah.
And you would program in which tape you wanted, and there would be a robot arms that would come and grab it and give it to you. It was apparently like always broken in some way because again this is early 90s robot technology, probably 80s 90s robot technology.
In the data center that I worked in, there's a tape robot there that's job is to basically remove all the tapes that are currently loaded into the system, and that would go and put that on the put that on the archive shelf while another thing is being inserted for backups and letting that run. And it's having a robot just living in a data center whose job is just to remove tapes and put tapes in. It makes complete sense to do that. The thing about fighting over a VHS tape is more like that's movie magic.
The idea that you could, because I mean one of the things that was a problem though was you want to have multiple arms so that you can have more than one tape being retrieved at once. Yeah. But they have to not hit each other.
Yeah.
So you can imagine it's actually like not totally implausible that somebody messing with the system could do that to it.
Yeah.
And then the fighting over. But anyway. The big stacks of like computers that are just like big LED or like
blinking lights,
and just like towers in the place and stuff, all that kind of stuff is very silly.
Usually our hacker stories are like, oh, this we got like the Giga leak or this big thing happened, or the one that we all hate to hear, you better be changing your passwords because something happened.
Well, usually not even something happened so much as like the company that is storing all your information actually didn't give a shit about storing it securely, so now it's all over the place.
Well, whatever, but like this is probably the first one I've heard in a while that's like they said we're not going to give in to your demands, and the information they leaked just actually boosted their
stock price. Yeah.
And presumably there was also some other bad. So the big thing here is that and again this is part of the sort of not very glamorous aspect of hacking is that Rockstar didn't get hacked. What they did was they hacked their third-party analytics platform, because of course the problem with especially a big company, but basically even like a person, right? It's like you can have your email address or your whatever, you can have your main sort of things well secured with all sorts of good passwords and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But do you have a good password on some random thing that you don't even like remember that you signed up for?
Yeah.
And if somebody has that, can they then use that to jump to something?
If you watch any crime movie, the best thing you learn out of that movie is that it doesn't matter how secure a thing is. You don't go after that as the target. You go after the thing while it's in transit, or the
weakest part of the system.
Or like a person who has access to this because people are fallible and whatnot.
Yeah.
So anyway, the third-party analytics platform is what got taken out, or what got hacked, and from that they were able to extract a bunch of information, what seems to be mostly about their sort of financial stuff, which is that thing of like, which is sort of the area that's kind of the least interesting to the general public,
right?
But possibly the more damaging to the company, I would think. But at least so far, the main thing that has been at least reported on as part of the leak, because I think it was like millions of stuff got leaked, But the main thing that has been reported on so far is a bunch of information about how much GTA Online is making, and especially interesting. We didn't go into it in the story, but the other aspect they leaked was how much it's making on different platforms.
Oh, okay.
And what is interesting about that is that PlayStation apparently is like head and shoulders above all the other platforms, including like apparently PC is like the most popular and the least amount of money that in terms of people actually buying in-game currency and paying for stuff.
There is a that tangentially ties into a thing that I guess has been the rule of thumb for like mobile game development is that it's like you launch on iOS first. If you can only launch on one of two platforms, you launch on iOS first. Why? Because
the audience is more
spends more money,
used to paying money for things.
Yeah, they're in a position of the iOS people have more disposable income. I guess it is. It's just
and it's just like a cultural the sort of accepted practices on the system are a little different.
Well, and it kind of also is a socioeconomic indicator from because iPhones were iPhones were seen as a premium product, and therefore they were more expensive usually right off the tip. And so there was a lot more people who were adopting an iPhone ahead of time because they were willing to spend the money on buying iPhones in the early days, and that kind of just engendered that category of, the people who make this kind of money are going to buy these, and the people who don't make money at all are going to get an Android phone because they're generally stuck with getting something that's like a $0 phone or whatever, and so they end up in that platform, and they don't spend as much money on the platform as a result, and that became, again, the rule of thumb. That could have changed.
It's probably changed quite a bit now.
Because there's a wider variety of phones and platforms and like all that kind of stuff out there, people who are making those kind of things. But to say that, people who play on PlayStation are spending more money even if there are less of them, that's interesting too, because that can also be seen as a socioeconomic indicator. It's like people who were able to buy a PlayStation 5 might also be people who had more disposable income.
It could be that. It also could be that on PC it's just easier to mod and do things, so maybe you don't feel inclined to buy things inside to do whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, we actually talked about just before we went live that Beej was lamenting that there's a lot of Switch sales going on right now.
Yeah.
Sales of Switch games.
Lamenting because I'm like, I want to just buy all the games so I can stop waiting for them to go on sale because they're on sale. But it's like I have at least another year worth of blueprints inside me because I'm too stupid to solve puzzles.
But there's this idea that but it's it's very much the case that as somebody who does do a lot of PC gaming as well, that I'm pretty cheap in terms of PC gaming because Epic's giving me free games every week.
Absolutely. You've recalibrated your thing for how much you're willing to spend in the game.
I know, so am I.
Yeah.
But, I would say the quality of the free games they're giving away has maybe gone down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And Amazon even is still giving away free games, even though it's not. It was like Twitch was giving away free games, then it became Amazon giving away free games, and then it was like Amazon Luna is giving away free games.
Oh my God! Right? Yeah.
And now just recently they're like Amazon Luna is kind of shutting down. I don't know what'll happen with that.
Don't worry, we'll set up another thing with a different name.
But anyway, my point being that games not being very games going on sale or being very cheap on PC is like pretty common, and so. I can see that the players that you get on PC are probably a lot more price conscious than you might get on a console systems.
That's true. Yeah, I could see that.
And so if I spent whatever $10 on the game, I'm less inclined to spend $15 on stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway. There is a certain what I find kind of interesting about this is there is this aspect of oh no, please hackers don't release the information that we're making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Oh no, but the fact is, Rockstar or Take-Two hadn't released this information.
Right.
So there must have been some reason why, like, they haven't been talking about this just in their quarterly earnings reports.
Okay, so
Maybe they didn't want to sort of let everyone know where they were making their money. Like, maybe they,
yes.
in terms of when they're negotiating with different platforms, keeping as much information to your chest is probably better
because
for them.
What you want to have people think is that everything that you make is clearly making this kind of money, and if you can spread that feeling across all the games that you're making, because what if Rockstar is making a game that isn't actually doing as well, but they're still making $500 million a year, and they're like, oh, well, that's easy now because we can make it feel like...
That was actually, the other part of that was that Red Dead Redemption is not, like, Red Dead Redemption Online is not making anywhere near what GTA Online is.
Right. But they can afford to
again,
keep them both afloat because they're making this kind of money.
Right.
And so therefore you're like, well, you don't just come out and say, we have to get rid of RDR. Everyone, though, would probably say, hey, if it's not making the money, it's like, no, because you can think of things as labors of love within a company when you have the kind of money to make everything lovable.
Right. The more pragmatic approach is we want to keep Red Dead Redemption in people's brains so that when we bring out Red Dead Redemption 3 with increased horse testicle physics or whatever.
Yeah.
The horses will also fart.
Yeah. The horses will have 3 testicles. They're going to solve the 3-body problem.
Well, yeah, they will
Is
make...
that the 3-body problem?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
That Netflix series went in a different direction than I thought it would.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see that we make this much money on the backs of this thing, and the surprise that Graham had written about where it's like you're making over $1 million a day.
So yeah, $500 million a year.
Yeah.
So
off of one game in your portfolio. It does kind of feel like, what is the point in trying to finish another game and bring it out?
Well, and that's GTA Online too. So it's like that's the multiplayer thing. I mean, I remember thinking about this for Blizzard, another company, and when they brought out, I guess this was back when they brought out like StarCraft 2.
Okay.
So StarCraft, most popular RTS by far.
Yes.
StarCraft 2, again, the most popular, best-selling RTS, pretty much of all time.
Yes.
I don't know the numbers exactly, but I think that's a reasonably safe thing to say.
All right.
And it's like 1 month of WoW subscriptions is more than is more than it's made.
Yeah.
In its entire product, and so it's like if you're Blizzard, you're like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah.
But then again, StarCraft 2 is great, and I would be very sad if Blizzard stopped making that. But it does feel weird from a sort of, it's like, how Valve has basically stopped making games.
Yeah.
I mean, they make things every once in a while, but like, we could make Half-Life 3, and if it sells really, really, really well, we might make a fraction of what we make off just taking the cut from Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, it could
In a
just be
week.
that, maybe there's a reason they don't want to share that information particularly. Possibly it's just not information that, because if you're talking about the idea of like a quarterly earnings call or any kind of investment meeting, all the information they're going to share there is geared towards a certain style or a specific goal to set up. And I know like when Nintendo does their stuff and people find out numbers for how their sales have been going,
then
they don't tell you, they don't bring up games that haven't sold 1 million copies.
Right. So you
and it's not because it's like, oh, we don't want people to notice that these games are. It's just like that number is not important until they hit a certain threshold.
Yeah.
So like you can speculate about what it's doing, but we're not going to tell you.
Yeah, and so I feel like in this case, it could be that it's like, oh, we don't want people to know for whatever reason that this one thing is doing whatever, or these other things aren't doing whatever, or it just might not be for them relevant to their presentations.
I do think that it's like a company that has if a company has a method of making income where they're like, we know we can make income in this way, we should be thinking about how that income then helps us to do other things within the company. And that might just be that may not be tied to specifically to paycheck. It is ultimately tied to paychecks, but it's like, but you want to create another product, well, then this is now you can do that because you have a net of money that's always coming in. Be like, oh, now we can experiment with doing interesting different things.
And I mean, I think that's often what we do. Every once in a while, we hear the stories that sort of escape containment of the stuff of like, the thing about, we were talking about Amazon. The thing about Amazon, burning millions and hundreds of millions of dollars trying to make a
Steam competitor.
And everyone was like, that they were trying to make a Steam. Like, not only did they not succeed, people didn't even know they were trying.
Yeah.
But they're making so much money in other places that they can do that.
Yeah.
It would be nice if what they did with that sort of extra wiggle room money was more interesting.
Yes.
I agree.
Like make good games.
I mean, I hate when we get caught up on numbers ourselves, because it always feels like if you get stuck in that conversation, it feels like that's the only thing that matters. And I know it kind of matters to a degree, because that also dictates like how much money you're getting through like ad revenue and some other stuff. And we also just like, we're like, oh, we made this thing. We think it's really cool. We'd like to see it do numbers because we'd like to see more people see it.
Right.
More than, I feel is like generally our first thought, rather than we're not making enough money off of it, even though sometimes conversations end up going that way. But what I really hate is when I see comments that are like, oh, you're not making thing because it's not doing numbers. And it's like, there's so much stuff we would not be making if we were completely number based.
This show, for instance, we probably wouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
ChillPoint does okay.
But it's also, we like to do it. So that's why we do it. And that's the great thing about your support. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. You allow us to do the stuff that we want to do, regardless of whether it actually is a successful thing from a monetary point of view.
Our harder limits are time based.
Yes.
I think Paul's still working on that.
Let's talk about Street Fighter 6. Speaking of things that people are still working on.
Yes.
So this is we talked about this very briefly in a Quick Points last month. Last month.
Right, the Street Fighter 6 Alex
the
thing.
Street Fighter 6 Alex thing, and then I'm sure we talked about it more during ChillPoint. And this idea that for whatever reason they decided that the Alex character not only has this sort of interesting he's got this this familial relationship, or this whole backstory where he was adopted by these other people, and he became, but then nobody asked for this.
Yep.
But now not only is he a big adopted brother, he and his adopted sister got married.
Yeah.
And are having a kid. In fact, there's we have official art of both, the two of them like with hands on her belly sort of there, and also we have official art of Alex as like a young boy, maybe like 10 or 12, like with the little baby
Patricia,
his future wife, with like her hand around his finger.
Yep.
We have both of those pictures together in like official art.
Now, so in the Capcom throwing this in, because Alex was like in Street Fighter 3, and then didn't appear again until Street Fighter 6.
And people were stoked about him coming back.
Sure, and so in the process of this, it's like, oh well, we're going to add more story. We're going to do whatever it is we're going to do. These things are always designed by committee, these things are approved by committee. Like there have to be writers on the team that have to say, well, here's what's going on with Alex.
To be clear, Alex as like a character in the game apparently is doing really good. I mean, I get the impression that he is, a great character to play
in
the game. And with the amount that I've heard from Nelson cursing. He seems like he's pretty good.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's not like people are like down on Alex being in this game at all. What people are, of course, reacting to is it's like this. In the original story that we mentioned, the quick point we mentioned, this just really felt like an own goal. It was kind of like, Capcom, why would you set up like a really unusual story like this? Why would you kind of go out of your way to make this icky to a lot of people? And the only thing I can think is that unless you're trying to create a villainous thing, because you're not, like when you see how they're trying to portray Alex as being like, oh, I have a I have a wife and a child now, and I have this familiar relationship, and I'm trying to humanize this brutal man.
Not only is it not a villainous thing, this is supposed to be the other side. This is supposed to be him being nice.
Yeah, this is the redemption side of things. So it's like, so why would you do this? And to just kind of put it right out there, this is cultural, right?
There's different values culturally.
Yeah, and it's not like we're not trying to say that it's like oh, in Japan, everyone's allowed to marry their sister. It's like, that's not at all what I'm saying. This is such an unusual situation to be in.
I feel like it comes up a lot more in their fiction than I would say in their reality. Yeah.
Exploring the idea of like, well, you're not blood related, so, and oh my God, the amount of manga that then get turned into anime, that then get turned into like live action series, that all this kind of stuff. It's like the amount of fiction that goes through this process that have these things at the center of them. It's like, is way more than you would ever expect in anything coming out of the United States, for example. And yeah, it's different sensibilities for what you're willing to depict in fiction. I don't know how you like. I don't know why Capcom would think, hey, we should just go ahead and do this, because they've been making stuff for a worldwide market for a long time. And I would assume that somebody would say, this is not going to play well in X location, be it the West or be it another country. It's just
this is definitely one of those. Yeah. Reminds me, there's that famous, was it the like Folgers commercial?
Yes. My favorite commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets referenced a lot when I hear people talk about this story.
Where they're like, there's the like, I've seen like interviews with like the actors and with the director and stuff being like, we don't really know what happened.
Yeah.
Like that certainly wasn't the intention.
No.
And it was just like,
we didn't try to direct it that way.
It was just sort of something happened in like the edit and just sort of how it sort of played out.
Yeah. And we kind of just have to like ask people to please ignore it and stop bringing it up. Actually, interesting piece of trivia for that. Do you like Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
Yes, but I feel like this is a trap.
I don't like the way you brought that up.
Do you know the name of the actor who played Wei-Yun and also the other guy?
Jeffrey Combs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his daughter.
In the Folgers commercial?
Playing the little sister is his daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all. I just thought that was really wild that it's kind of like,
weird 7 degrees thing.
Yeah, that's like, that's an odd thing to discover that. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so in the story we talked about the line that they changed, the one line there. Right. I think I saw in some comments that there were a few other line changes as well to make it sound like they didn't grow up together in the same way, or also vaguified some stuff.
Unfortunately, with this line, it kind of like, it reminded me a little bit of like Arrested Development, where where like George Michael he's trying to like rationalize why he's attracted to Maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's like a really distant cousin, like super distant cousin.
But she isn't, is the thing, right? Like,
and she's adopted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. I mean, that's the, that I always thought was, the kind of like, you have to go through a rationalization process to try to say whatever. And it's like, Arrested Development's making fun of that idea, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the other thing too, it's like,
and also they, in that context, they're both still not good, but they are the same age, like they're peers.
The conversation of like, well, how could you end up being attracted to family members in this way? Some of the, other than just like the way you would grow up. But there have been studies about like, oh, when you have siblings that have been separated from birth, and they end up running into each other later in life, and they end up discovering that they're attracted to each other or whatever, because it's like, oh, right, you didn't grow up in the same house, you didn't grow up, beating up each other to get access to the TV or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you didn't establish a relationship there, but there's so much about you physiologically that is familiar to me, and therefore that's the attraction, is that there's all this familiarity that I'm like, I recognize this in you, I see this from you, I can't just like quantify or justify this, but yeah.
You're saying if you have a situation where you're like, oh boy, these two kids like each other too much in the wrong way.
Yeah.
We better separate them. Not necessarily the best solution.
Well, it's usually even like at birth or like when they're very young, when they don't have a chance to really establish that relationship, they notice it's like, right, that's ultimately when they run into each other and not knowing, especially that they're siblings and having that cultural thing hanging over top of them. Physiologically, they'll be attracted to each other and not really understand why. And it's when
it comes down to it, for me, it's more, I feel like it's weirder to be like, oh, I grew up with this person who is a sibling and now I want that kind of relationship is such an odd idea to me.
Yeah.
Because
the blood relation thing, I'm like, if you don't know you're blood related.
Yeah.
I like, yeah, like, because at that point that's not in your brain at all.
And again, as lots of people point out, second cousin,
that is a step removed from, and that used to be,
and in every, I think pretty much everywhere that it's not actually illegal.
No,
or anything,
that's what I've heard too. Yeah.
That is not a super solid argument.
Nope.
Not technically illegal is not like the best argument for things.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But it's the thing about if what they're alleging is that he grew up with her, like he was adopted into the house, and while they might be blood related at a long distance, it's like you still were adopted into the house and you still grew up together as a child with this other child. And your assumption is that they would have grown up together in like in a sibling relationship, but then that moved into being this other thing, and it's like that's the thing that squicks a lot of people out, because a lot of people have siblings.
Yeah.
And they're like,
and it's
I
also,
cannot even fucking imagine.
And it's that it's not just a sibling relationship, it's that he's like a lot older than her.
There's that too, right? So yeah, it's
wait, how much?
by about 10 years, I think.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're actually.
Well, because
when they depict him as a child and she's a baby.
Yeah,
so that could be 8 years.
Judging from the pictures, yeah.
Because age gap I find to be kind of a weird thing where it's like, so the bigger the age gap when you're younger, that's definitely weird.
Yeah.
But like older you get, the longer the age gap seems less weird.
Yeah.
So,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like...
Maybe he's 5 in that picture. Who knows? Maybe they don't have as much of an age gap as we think. He's a massive
weird,
man.
Right? Like how many 900-year-old dragons do we see that look 12?
That's true.
It's just...
I think for the purposes of Street Fighter, he is an ordinary man.
Yeah. Yeah, he is an ordinary man in an ordinary world. Yeah, so we're back at, hey, look, everybody, we think we fixed this problem in terms of the narrative. And that's a thing you can do, because as the people who own the rights, that you'd be like, oh, people didn't like the story being like this. You know, we can just erase that and we can change that to be something else.
Well, and I think the other aspect of it is like, they wanted to change it, but also they're not going to spend a lot of money on it. Mm-hmm. So they've got all the pictures, like the art is done.
Yeah.
So all they can really do is like try to change some of the dialogue. Right?
Yep.
Well, it is the faster fix too, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you have they could have made this like the Osana Najimi thing. They could have made it like the childhood friend things, like, oh, you met each other when you were kids, and there's this cute picture of you holding her when she's a baby and whatever. And then you both moved away, and Alex went to the mountains for 10 years to go do whatever. And then when he came back, he ran into her again, but she's this cute teenage girl, and now all of a sudden his heart.
Well, I mean, I see a lot of for her. I do see a lot of confusion from some people when it comes to anime, because they'll see a character and they'll be like, but they're related, and you'll go and you look and you're like, they're not. They're calling that person auntie, or they're doing whatever, but they're not actually related. That's just, and it's actually weird to me to find out that there are people who haven't had that kind of thing where you're the friends of your parents would get referred to like aunt or uncle, even though they weren't related to you at all.
Yeah.
The fact that there are people who just never did that was an interesting concept for me to learn.
There's people who look at Marmalade Boy and they're kind of like, that's not okay because they're siblings. I'm like, they were literally 16 years old when their parents weirdly intermarried each other, and then they had to live in the same house together. You put a 16-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl in the same house. They've never met each other before, and you're like, oh well, now all of a sudden they're siblings.
Well, I mean, spoilers for the ending for a really old anime. They're half siblings.
In the manga, they're half siblings.
But
in the anime, they allude to it,
but they still allude to it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is probably what happened, and then they decide to change the ending because they're like, let's not make them half siblings. Yeah.
Anyway,
good story though.
I did also want to point out that this is not new information because this is art from Street Fighter 3, but I just wanted to point out that his dad's sparring partner who takes him in after his dad is killed, who's this girl's father, is clearly Jean Reno.
Yeah. And when you mentioned that, there was a brief moment like, is that Natalie Portman? And I'm like, is that who they're modeling her after too? Because I'm like, is this going to be a Le Professionnel thing?
I mean...
I'm not saying she doesn't look like, but yeah.
I mean, Street Fighter and other fighting games have a long history of just straight up stealing the likenesses of various celebrities.
Yeah, like Mike Hagar, basically just being Freddie Mercury with massive muscles.
Or Mike Tyson's
Balrog. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway. Let's move on to somebody else not doing PR very well. Godzilla,
a company you've never heard of.
For a game you've never heard of.
Yeah. Now,
which makes sense. It's called Off the Grid.
For some, yeah. To give them, I mean, some fairness. I have seen some people that done the comments of this video, but. Around this story, I have seen people talking about Off the Grid favorably. People who are
sure.
So I want to be clear that if you are playing Off the Grid and enjoying it, there's no reason why this has to make you stop doing that.
No.
Well, that's up to you.
But you could think about whether it should make you stop.
I mean, again, that's up to them. Like, people draw their own lines. Like,
also, so Gunzilla is the name of the developer of Off the Grid. I did want to bring up the question: is Gunzilla Godzilla with a gun, or is Gunzilla a giant gun that's like destroying the city by itself?
I think it's probably like very close to that Chainsaw Man creature.
It's a giant walking gun.
But as a gun.
Yeah.
It's a giant lizard that has a gun sticking out of its head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It also, yes, it does also make me a little bit sad that apparently Neil Blomkamp is involved with this. How deeply involved with it, who knows? But, I like his movies, and so it kind of bums me out a bit.
I hate to take the contrary position, but when I heard, like when I saw that in the story, I was like, oh, that checks out. I don't know why, but the moment that it said, oh, well, our chief creative officer is actually this dude who directed District 9, I was like, I don't know why, but that seems completely believable and understandable. I don't know that much about Neil Blomkamp.
I think I saw District 9.
It is a good movie.
That's the one about an alien?
It's about, the aliens sort of have landed, but they're kind of refugees.
Yeah,
right.
They're living in a refugee
I did see that one
in South Africa,
ago.
and it's definitely an allegory about something, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
And then he also did
Chappie,
and then there's the one with Matt Damon as in like a robot suit thing.
Oh, really?
Pacific Rim?
No.
Sorry, I don't
guess.
know that.
Elysium. That's it.
Avatar?
I mean, Pacific Rim definitely lives in that space of independent sci-fi movie. That thing where it's like you pull off a really good sci-fi movie, but you do it not with like $100 million studio backing kind of thing. You do it with like maybe $10 million or.
Pacific Rim, I think, had a pretty good. It's Guillermo del Toro, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
pretty good chunk.
But it was also like this was not going to be like, oh, this is our blockbuster project, until it was like getting done. Everyone's like, oh shit, this movie's amazing. We actually should promote this.
Anyway,
But yeah,
while apparently he's associated with this studio, he doesn't actually have anything to do with the story.
sure,
It's just kind of an interesting aspect.
agreed.
So came out that, or some people on LinkedIn some of the contractors started blowing the whistle or whatever, complaining that they hadn't been paid in a long time.
Yeah, some employees, I think it said the same thing.
This was specifically a contractor.
This was contractor, okay.
Although
I think it came out that some employees were as well, but
I think the contractor said that he hadn't been paid, and also that he had heard that employees weren't being paid too, or something like that. So Vlad Korlev, the CEO of Gunzilla, went on the offensive and did this very large Twitter post, mostly talking about how cool the game is, and then only sort of in the second part actually talking about
Why no one's getting paid.
why. And he's like, this is total thing. And the part that really struck me, and I sort of suggested this story to Cam. I was like, I feel like this might be up your alley. Was this like what was it? They have honored every obligation, and they have they say now sometimes it's true that the schedule of our payment, we do it in a way that works for the company's cash flow, and might not be the best, might not be preferable for individuals.
Yeah.
But that's just the world, the reality of the world we live in, which is a complicated way of saying sometimes we don't pay people because we want to use the money in other places.
It's written in a really weird, vague way that's kind of because as a contractor especially, for certain things you might not get paid depending on your contract. It's always going to be in your contract, but you might not get paid until 30 days past delivery, or 60 days, or even 90.
But that's it's a very clear part of your contract.
It's very clearly always in your contract. It's also still not great, but like you might. That's why I'm like, oh, this seems kind of vague to me, because I feel like he might be trying to say, oh, well, we have stuff parceled out in a way that works for us, and it might not work for everyone. You could try to argue that it's one of those. But in which case he could actually just say it's one of those.
What I get from those kind of statements is, it's like when you see a contract change from net 30 to net 90, right? That you're just there's a when I see that happen, it's kind of like, oh, something is happening that we need to be like a little concerned about, because if you have positive cash flow to the company constantly, then the company's probably not in any danger of actually not having the money they need to pay people when they need to pay people. But when you say, oh, your contract's going to be net 90 now, it's kind of like, I don't know what that means in terms of what your cash flow is going to be like, but you clearly have different accounting obligations all of a sudden, and now I'm worried about what that means for me being able to, make.
We've
get
decided
paid for stuff.
We'd rather keep the money for longer,
for a longer period of time, and so the saying the things like the things that Cameron called out, great to do that, because I get from the point of view of the person running the company, it's like we're not making enough money to be able to deal with all of our obligations. So a lot of things are going to go hang. A lot of things are going to wait. Like the thing about, maybe you're a week late with paying everybody's paycheck, like that kind of idea. And
he says that. He says to protect the interests of our players and our full-time official employees, whose salaries over 6 years have never been delayed by more than a week. We operate at a pace that ensures the company continues moving forward. So what my interpretation of that is, we prioritize paying employees over paying
Contractors. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then the part that says have never been delayed by more than a week, and I'm like, that is an honest thing to say, and it's also very weird because
It's like if that's the razor margin that you're on, then
Yeah.
like,
That,
okay,
like-
we need to wait a week
Yeah.
until we're going.
Well,
got
okay,
5 more days until
so
this check clears, and then we can
sometimes-
pay everybody.
Sometimes weird things happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
And if there's a strange error that can take up to a week to fix. Now, if you want to talk about there are weird warning signs that your company's going under, I've worked at one, and you know what the first thing that went was auto deposit, because you have to have that money up front already waiting with the company who's going to be in charge of deploying that. And then when you also work at a company where they decide the best way is to send handwritten checks to the manager to then disperse to everyone,
just to
instead of
add a little bit more
doing
time.
like there are signs where you suddenly go, I might not get paid this week.
You have people who are like Heather's talking about so direct deposit. I don't know if people don't have this anywhere where they live, but direct deposit is the idea that you're paying a service to do your payroll for you, so that you give them the money and then they actually chop it up and they send it all out as direct deposits into employees' accounts. And that's a service that costs some money.
It costs a little bit of money, but it also means you also have to have all that money that needs to be dispersed given usually like a week beforehand.
You have to be
or
able
so.
to handle that
So
stuff over when it's necessary.
When I watched the drowning ship that I was on happening, it was very much this way we have that money for an extra week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, when you get paid on a Friday and the mail doesn't show up on time,
Yeah.
and then you have, don't worry, everyone, you'll definitely get your paychecks by Monday. So many people quit, and they should have. They rightly quit.
Yeah. Yeah. You have that happen too many times, and naturally the reaction is going to be, I have to go get a job somewhere else.
So when you have a thing where it's like, because I'm assuming that people who are complaining about I haven't been paid in like 3 months or 6 months or whatever, especially under a contract position, which means they really, not to say that somebody else doesn't need that money, but as a contractor, you, especially if you're self-employed, your bills are a lot. You have to make everything happen yourself.
Right.
You should be complaining the moment you can.
And you don't have any like existing relationship with the company necessarily.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance they're gonna just try to cut you off.
And it's and I mean, we talked about it a lot back on the like 20th anniversary podcast or something. But we dealt with very similar kinds of things when we were working for The Escapist.
Yeah.
We had we had some very pointed conversations with the CEO of The Escapist, where at that point we were at like whatever net 30 or net 60 or whatever, and then we're like, okay, so where's and they're like, well, global financial melt turnaround or whatever, our advertisers aren't paying us.
Yeah.
Which I have no reason to doubt was true.
Sure. Yeah.
Our advertisers aren't paying us, which means we can't pay out.
Which means that we can't pay our employees.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but it's like we're at the bottom of the totem pole because, rent and groceries and stuff you can't just be like, well, the guys who are paying me aren't getting paid by their advertisers, so we will have to delay it all. Like, at a certain point, you're at the bottom of the list, or you're at the sort of base, and you're like,
I guess I'll put all this on my credit card and hope that I can pay it off the next week.
It would be better to say things like bottom of the list, because bottom of the totem pole is actually, we use incorrectly.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Top of the totem pole would actually be the bad
Which doesn't
place.
sound,
Yeah.
like when you're saying it out loud, doesn't sound like the thing that you're trying to emote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got it so wrong for so many years. So yeah.
But anyway, I mean, I think there was a point where we basically where The Escapist owed us something like several like over $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah. I would also highly advise when you go for a job interview, you definitely double clarify with them that the position that you are going for is permanent. I was trying to leave a different place that was bad for other reasons. When I was trying to leave, I went and tried to get a job at a bookstore, and they had advertised it as a permanent position. But then when I went to go sign the paperwork and everything, it was a temporary holiday position. Ooh. And I immediately left because I'm like, I can't. I thankfully haven't actually given my notice to the other place yet, but I can't give up, even though it's a terrible place to work, I can't give up the income for a temporary position and then also still look for a job during the holiday season.
Yeah.
Because I will not be able to make rent in January when nobody is hiring.
Yeah.
That being said, even if it's a permanent position, if the company goes away, it's still not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bookstores aren't in trouble. No one's gonna put bookstores out of business.
I mean, I'm hoping not. I like going to those places.
And one of the things that you might not, that I saw some folks be slightly confused about, which to be honest is kind of great, that people don't know what Web3 means, which is I kind of am encouraged by that, because Web3 is something that was put forward during the sort of height of the NFT craze. And the idea is it's coming from the Web 2.0 thing, that sort of resurgence in web design sort of information, where moving over to more dynamic, more interesting. Web 2.0 was a real thing,
mm-hmm.
and it was a total change in how web designers think about designing a website.
Is Web3 like actually have any meaning? Because whenever I hear it, I feel like I'm just being grifted, and people are using a buzzword that doesn't actually have meaning. Web3,
they try to, is what they are, what crypto people have tried. It's like the internet, it's like the World Wide Web, or like web pages, or the internet, or internet enabled things that are connected to NFTs or cryptocurrency.
Okay. The idea
is Web3, and so they called it Web3 because they wanted it to feel as revolutionary as the like Web 2.0 stuff, but
it's not a term that people
it wasn't connected, because web designers, who are the people who actually are doing this stuff, didn't go for that at all, which is great.
Yeah.
It was a dumb idea. Yeah. Web 2.0 started with Ajax, which was the dynamic stuff, and it kind of snowballed from there. It was definitely a real thing, but Web3 is not something that has been, and since NFTs have taken a big crap,
mm-hmm.
And crypto in general has taken a massive downturn, you don't see much about Web3 anymore. So all that is to say that the assertion that Off the Grid is the most popular Web3 game could be true.
Yes. True.
Even though apparently they had 7 people or 6 people. There were 6 people actually broadcasting it on Twitch and 7 people watching.
Yeah.
Which means that there was actually 1 person watching.
And I mean, like, enough of you have been with us long enough. Like, those of you watching at home, I think enough of you have been with us long enough.
Yeah, you 6, maybe 7 years.
Yeah, that you remember we were beating the drum about this NFT thing is a bad idea, and we didn't have to beat it for very long, which is nice. I mean, over a year, but
it was longer than I would have liked.
Yeah, but the idea of like all of the kind of let's build blockchain into this, let's do this, let's do that, and it was pretty obvious that no one really nobody at the consumer end really wanted to bite on any of that. So this is kind of the last gasps of that whole grift or whatever mechanism, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically, I mean, I'd like to call it as it is. I feel like it is, give me all your, like the dude was like, hey, I'll totally give you all of our new user details for month to month if you're willing to spend 100,000, buy 100,000 guns with a Z.
So I do think it would be really funny if we did it. Not like I really want to do it or anything, but if we did it and the new user information we got was, well, we had 1 new user and they bought this many.
Yeah.
Well, it's because, yeah, I mean, you do the math, and
It's a one-time grift, right? Like,
we are coming out of like that thing, and there's always going to be the people who are hanging on till the end, because it's like if we can just be the last one, then we'll be the most successful one, and it's like that's also not a means by which to make money by being the last person who makes buggy whips is not a thing that's going to help you continue to keep your business rolling, right? Like that's just you holding on until somebody says, you don't have to make leather goods anymore. You can start making computers. And then the fact that happened twice, that was weird. But what was the other thing I was going to mention? No, that's fine.
But I think, yeah, and I mean, the math doesn't really work out that they have 3,000 new players a day joining.
Yeah. It doesn't.
no.
I mean, I can believe. Well, the thing is, though, I'm like, I could believe that could be true. That they had a day where 3,000 people showed up to play the game, right?
Yeah,
But not sticking around.
And also, it's every single day, 3,000 new players. It's not that we had that happen once.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so you're claiming that's every single day too, and I'm like, are you running giveaway things in your weird NFT game or whatever this is going? I don't know if it is an NFT game, but you're saying Web 3.0, so it has to be part of that whole grift. If there's people signing up with new email addresses, they're just the same people, so they can get more of the same goods over and over, so they can try to do something with them. I guess maybe that's what you're talking about. 3,000 new people every day.
I think they're just lying.
And yeah,
It's
and I
just
mean,
easier.
to be honest, I haven't done that, and I don't really care to do enough research to actually know how deep. Like, it's possible that the sort of Web3 aspect of this, the guns, GUNZ, their in-game currency, is just an in-game currency like any other in-game currency, but they have it tied to the blockchain for no particular reason.
Sure.
So that they can say that they're Web3. Like, it's possible that the Web3-ness of the game is actually not that obnoxious.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of there, but it's not, like, it doesn't feel, and maybe there's, you can trade stuff or whatever, but obviously they aren't, any of the actual, like, the attempts at making the, like, NFT, the Ubisoft having their setup with
Wolf Enhanced Pants.
Wolf Enhanced Pants, or
Pants.
the idea that you could sort of, it'd be great, now you own your Wolf Enhanced Pants and you can sell them to other people, even if Ubisoft isn't around. That didn't work out so well.
My favorite cryptocurrency story is still the weird shit that went down with Cooking Mama, where it was very clear that it was all just like somebody using
Wasn't it actually like mining in the background?
No, they were just using a bunch of buzzwords because but there was like all this really weird like miscommunication of info, and like the website would say a thing, and it was very clear this person didn't know what they were talking about, but they were trying to make investors do whatever, and it was just like the funniest thing.
And to have it associated with like Cooking Mama,
yeah,
which was like a sort of positively thought about and kind of weirdly and kind of wholesome and kind of nice game. People were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's like what I'm hearing about.
It was one of the funniest things because it kept happening too. Like every like couple of months there would be like a new weird thing about it, and it didn't make any sense.
It wasn't getting any clearer. It's like what's happening with Allbirds all of a sudden, which I heard about. Allbirds is a shoe company, if you've not heard of them. And a few years ago, they were like the San Francisco darling. They were just like, if you lived in the Bay Area, Allbirds were kind of the thing that you were probably going to be wearing, especially like Silicon Valley people. Not to put a thing on like, oh, these are like tech bro shoes or whatever, right? But it was a popular thing because I have a pair of Allbirds.
Yeah, they were a
comfortable,
trendy shoe. Yeah,
low whatever shoe. I think they were like large. The ones I have, I think, are made out of wool. And I was like, I like the idea of maybe I'll wear these around the house again. And I got a size that didn't fit because I got a used pair.
I mean, I will say,
but they did not fit my feet.
Birds not known for their shoe wearing.
No, exactly, right. But comfortable shoes and whatever. And then they very recently just said, hey, so we're pivoting the business and we're changing the name and we're going to be known as New Bird AI, and they're pivoting to becoming an AI company, is what they're saying. And
people are like, what does that mean?
As a result, they got a roughly 600% stock goose, just like good for the bird company. And but we were watching a clip the woman presenting this, I think, did a very poor job of presenting it, because she was saying that Allbirds' stock price has fallen from its peak by 99.5%. Right? She's like, so it dropped by 99.5%, and I'm like, holy shit! If you do the math, if it's at $3 right now, that means it was incredibly high beforehand, right? But now that they're calling themselves Newbird AI, all of a sudden, look, their stock got juiced by 582%. I'm like, so almost 6 times. So from $3 to $18, which is not wherever it was when it was worth that it fell by 99.5. And I'm like, using percentages to mask the performance by saying it almost completely disappeared, but then it jumped by 680 or 582%.
So the price of it had dropped by 99.5
Yes.
before they did the AI thing.
Yes.
So basically they were just
They were almost out of business.
Go out of business.
Yeah, and this is their thing, being like, what if we just pivot the company to be an AI company, whatever that means? And then they got this massive goose of money immediately by companies seeing a brand new name that says AI next to it. Like, this must be a brand new AI company, and put a bunch of money into it. The stock jumps, from 600 down to 3 up to 18. And then they lost all that just recently too. So it was basically a pump and dump as far as people could tell, and it's I believe those are illegal. Who knows if that'll lead to anything? Mm-hmm. Who knows who even owns Allbirds at this point? Because I didn't care.
Yeah, they do. There's insider trading stuff that they can look up.
But like that fall from grace of being like, our company's doing so well, we're making these shoes that people love to wear and whatever, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's not in fashion anymore. So you lose all this investment, and all this money, and it's like, well,
it was funny because Beach was just like, oh, math, and I was busy going because she had this whiteboard, which was actually really neat to see, like a person using a little whiteboard to do whatever.
News anchor.
And she was doing a good job of writing on it and stuff. But the thing that really irked me was she's got her microphone right here, and the whiteboard was just jamming right into it, and you could hear it futz, and I was just like, no, how dare you?
Mic over and over.
Stop it.
The producer in her ear was probably saying, you're banging your mic, and because you could tell she moved the whiteboard at a certain point, and it's like somebody was probably telling her, you're banging your mic, stop that.
Yeah. And of course,
Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, I was going to say this certainly reminded me of Long Island iced tea, which a number of years ago, again at the sort of height of the NFT stuff, renamed. It was an iced tea company.
Isn't that just alcoholic iced tea? Can't you get a Long Island anywhere?
Well, Long Island iced tea is an alcoholic iced tea drink. This
Long
is
Island Iced Tea Corp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Renamed itself to Long Blockchain Corp.
What a boring, awful name.
Without any actual blockchain related stuff, like any plans or anything.
Okay.
Their stock price shot up 300 and something percent briefly, and then went down very good. A couple of years ago, the FCC or FTC completed there was some insider, there's 3 people were convicted of insider trading.
No kidding.
So.
God.
Anyway. And then finally, Fortnite is apparently very excited about a Disney-themed extraction shooter.
So they're making Kingdom Hearts 4?
I hope so. Maybe.
Really?
No,
you
I
hope
don't know.
so? Why would you say
know.
that, Paul? The internet's going to hate you now.
I mean, people want Kingdom Hearts 4.
People want Kingdom Hearts 4. They don't want Fortnite Kingdom Hearts 4.
God, that would be funny though
if paw closes.
If they're like, well, Square Enix decided that they're going to work with Epic to make an extraction shooter for Kingdom Hearts, and that's the Disney themed extraction shooter they're making. It's got to be funny.
And I mean, I feel like this is kind of a weird story because it's like this is sort of one of those people at Epic are doing this. Epic hasn't. I don't think this is a public thing from Epic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the idea that Epic. We've done a couple of stories recently about how they've been not very happy about the performance of Fortnite in various things.
There's a lot of other games up there that are more interesting to the public.
Making $1 million a day.
Yeah.
Or maybe we are, but we used to be making $5 million a day. I don't know what it is. But whatever the case, they're not making enough money.
Yeah. You know, folks, we haven't ripped off another game in a while. There's
no,
Marathon.
That's not true. They definitely have.
That Marathon just came out, and we could simply rip that fucking game off too. So.
And Fortnite's had a relationship with Disney for a while now. In fact, Disney invested some number over $1 billion in Epic a while ago.
Well, I mean, they've got Darth Vader.
And yeah,
So,
they had Darth Vader.
so
they
it-
had,
All the
they had a
Marvel
bunch
people.
of Marvel stuff.
So the idea that they would maybe get Disney in there eventually would make sense.
Yeah, so they definitely already had a relationship with Disney, and Disney invested a bunch. But apparently, the Disney relationship has started to be like a little bit questionable. But so Fortnite is, the Epic is excited about this idea of an extraction shooter. It would be funny if Fortnite became like in the same way that Fortnite stopped being the like Fortnite Saved the World, like the original version of what Fortnite was supposed to be.
Fortnite Battle Royale now,
Became, just turned
Escape
into,
from Fortnite.
and just turned into the Battle Royale. If Fortnite then now just turned into an extraction game,
Oh, that'd be funny.
and left everybody else behind again.
There's no reason for them to not bolt that onto the game like as a different mode, because they've already tried bolting on other games anyway.
I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if in the like whatever Fortnite
R&D,
or the R&D or the like custom made things. I would be surprised if somebody hadn't already made some sort of third party thing that does extraction shootery types things.
Yeah, and I mean they've done the Lego thing and other like modes that you can go into. So the idea of them making a different mode that is something else you can go into is not weird.
I just hope it just becomes Escape from Tarkir. Exactly, except instead of Tarkir, you're escaping. You're escaping from Disneyland.
I'm gonna just say you said Tarkir twice. I think you meant Tarkov.
Tarkov.
Good, because
Tarkir is Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
But now all of a sudden I'm thinking that Hasbro
does have a
could
lot of
stand
games
to make
in
some
current
fucking
development.
money right
they,
now.
They could make a set called Escape from Tarkir.
They could make just a extraction shooter called Escape from Tarkir with all Magic the Gathering shit in it.
I mean, an extraction shooter, but like fantasy themed extraction shooter could be actually kind of fun.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I personally think that when you open up Fortnite and it gives you the menu hell UI that it gives you, that is the escape from game.
And you escape from it by hitting
Leaving.
the little X in the corner. Anyway, a couple other stories that I wanted to mention. We I guess this is not really a different, but this is again related to the to that whole GTA hacking thing.
Yep.
Because of course it's always reported on it was reported on a bunch of different places. One of them, of course, the Push Square, which is a PlayStation related gaming blog, and they were talking about that, this idea that the PlayStation is apparently sort of head and shoulders above 64% of GTA Online's weekly revenue was generated by PlayStation.
Which means the conclusion they're drawing is that means that GTA 6 is going to perform the best on PlayStation of any game ever.
I mean, people are already
Or rather, compared to any other platform.
doing that conclusion based on vibes, I think.
Yeah. I guess it will. I mean, it'll probably be the only way you can get a decent GPU.
Maybe that'll work. Maybe if they sell you a GPU with a game.
I mean, they said that like GTA 6's most recent trailer was captured on PS5 hardware.
Right.
So it seems like the PS5 is going to be at least one of the, if not the lead SKU for it.
Yeah. Are the pictures that I'm seeing on Push Square right now, these are like, that's literally what the game is going to look like? It's going to have that kind of neat...
Well, no, this is the style that GTA...
that's their key art still.
Yeah, the key art style has always been this sort of painterly thing. I doubt the actual game will.
I love the look of this, and I really wish they would make the game look like this too. But
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, have we?
I wouldn't play
have we
it, so it
actually
doesn't
even
really-
seen anything of
Don't listen to me.
of GTA 6?
There have been some trailer. There's been some teaser trailer stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't pay too much attention to it, other than the fact that nobody wants to come out at the same time.
Yeah. Pragmata just came out.
Yeah, I've heard decent things about it.
Heard good stuff about it. Yahtzee seemed to really like it on his review. as much as he likes anything.
Sure. Yeah.
But one of the things that people are talking about is which I guess is the point of these things. They sent out press kits to influencers and stuff, and apparently their press kit is kind of bonkers, in the sense that it reminds me a little bit of like the thing from
Glass Onion.
Glass Onion. Yeah.
But it's not a puzzle box.
It's not a puzzle box, but you. Let me zip forward.
Yeah. Is there one where there's a guy not talking and putting words over top of the screen?
I mean, not in this day and age.
Not in this day and
No,
age.
no.
Words on top of the screen are kind of part of the.
It's our show, so it should be our words.
Okay.
Wow, it can't seek forward.
Yeah, here, this will show it. So it comes in, a box.
Good start.
You open the box and there are instructions to you, and you get this secondary box.
Yep.
And there are
Okay.
instructions to plug this secondary box into the wall.
Yeah, don't ask questions. Plug this in now.
It's one of those like, I'm going to send you a thing, plug it in, but don't look in it.
Yeah, we didn't want to have a problem with having batteries being mailed through the mail, so yeah.
And then to get your actual stuff, and then they built this whole box
Yep.
that just opens up and serves you the actual box.
Yeah, slides out slightly. Here's your
And then-
box.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's going to be an interesting display case for a lot of people.
I
Yeah.
was like, do we know anybody who's on the Pragmata or like the Capcom influencer list? Because I feel like we could do something cool with that for like Loading Ready Live or something.
Yes.
New mystery box.
But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like something will come out. What is it going to be?
I mean, I imagine that in about 2 weeks or less, you're going to find that box on AliExpress.
Oh, maybe.
That's true.
Yeah, unbranded, and you'll just be able to buy one of those things anyway. So.
Oh, by the way, it's not only is there the box, but there's also like a remote control that comes with it to open and close it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's like marker pens and keychains and stickers and a desk light and stuff inside the box that's in the box. So
I hope they labeled the box as like a marketing thing when it came in, because I've heard some stories where people get these PR related boxes that go really hardcore in pretending to be what they are, and because you get like a weird mystery package at your door that
especially one
is
that's
very
got
just
electronics in it. And
gets
stuff.
very like suspicious.
Yeah.
That can be really unsettling.
I can see that. Yeah, you want to be careful, and people know that it's from Pragmata and stuff.
Yeah.
I believe we talked about this actually a while ago, that as part of this is back in February, as part of the thing where Lego and Nintendo, or Lego and Pokemon Company, are actually now officially doing Pokemon Lego sets.
Yes.
Right, whereas previously it was all Mega Bloks. One of that was there's some really neat sets, including the one that's like the 3 different starter Pokemon,
Right.
in like a diorama.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then one of the things was, if you bought that, which was the most expensive set,
Yep.
Well, I mean, it was also like the biggest
and it was the biggest,
and whatever as well.
then Xbox or
Whatever the name of the company is that makes Lego.
Lego does this cool thing, or does this thing where they will have a free gift.
Yes.
That you can only get in certain circumstances. And those actually become quite a hot commodity. And
Yeah.
so in this case, they had a free gift of a set of Kanto region badges.
Badges.
The gym badges. Yeah.
Badges.
In a
and,
case, which
in a
makes it
case.
cooler.
Like it's a very, and it's a,
Like
like
boxes are just cool.
it's super swank. But the only way you could get this was by buying the super big thing.
Yeah, which was annoying.
So of course immediately they're like, being resold for ridiculously high amounts given what it actually is.
Yeah, and Pokemon being the kind of company that's like, we don't like it when people resell our stuff in the secondary market. Let's trash the market by releasing all the cards. That's not what happened here.
I mean, they have done stuff like that in the past, but it's still not enough for scalpers.
Yeah.
So what they did, but what either Lego or I don't know who was
behind this,
the instigator for this, but whatever the case, Lego has released just a build guide, like the build guide for those badges.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're made out of sort of commodity Lego pieces.
Absolutely.
So you might even have the pieces already if you're a big Lego person.
Right.
You can just build it, which is pretty neat. 312 bricks.
Pardon me.
For the whole thing.
So they start getting because like I know you can go to Lego stores and buy individual bricks. I think so. I think it'd be really funny.
I assume somebody's priced out what it is to like buy it from, because you can buy it online too. Buy the bricks online.
Is the box made out of Lego?
Yeah.
The
presentation
presentation box is a Lego thing as well. It's
Neat.
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, oh, you can build the badges out of these, whatever. It's like you'll never get the really cool box. It's like, no, the box is also made out of Lego.
Yeah, again, that's why this is really cool.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
It's the box.
Yeah.
It's true. I think the box is actually cooler than the badges
exactly.
too, yeah.
But that might be just because like I've seen people make the badges in so many ways already that like seeing them in Lego kind of loses novelty.
Naughty Dog.
I remember them.
Yeah. They this is not like a super big story, but they had just recently doing an interview. 'Cause of course, Naughty Dog is working on the Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. That's their new game.
Last of Us in Space.
Yeah.
That we've only seen like some teaser stuff for it. Looks kind of cool. I'm tentatively excited.
Sure.
I really enjoyed the Uncharted games. I was not so big on the Last of Us games. Just I hear they're good games. It just seemed like kind of a bummer.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Well,
and I was like, space game. Maybe that's going to be more fun.
Okay, so you're looking for something more uplifting.
Yeah.
They'll take you up to the heavens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happens in space.
Never.
Yeah, that's definitely why like half the horror games are different space themed. But you're right, nothing bad happens in space.
Yeah,
No one can hear you scream, and that's why it's such a nice place.
Yeah.
It's so quiet and
Just
relaxing, super chill from what I hear too.
You don't hear the
because
screams.
it's cold.
Anyway, they also, but in this interview, they're talking about that. They say the way their culture, I guess, the culture of the company, sort of evolved, is that they're saying basically we have to crunch all the time.
Oh no. Oh no.
And they're like, so, and this is 100%, this is not me endorsing this. This is what they're saying is they say, after The Last of Us, it was just an admission in a meeting. It was like, well, we've just come to realize that this is what it takes to make games at our level. Oh my God.
And half the
if you don't want to do that, we understand. We'll write you a great letter of recommendation. The company runs the way it wants to run. You either want to be part of that or you don't.
That's not true at all.
We're not technically breaking any laws. We talked earlier today about how that that's not like a great defense.
Yeah.
The company just wants to run how it wants to run is not real.
Saying, strict. The crunch isn't a strict requirement at Naughty Dog, but employees are incentivized to do it because the amount of work they put in is reflected in bonuses.
Well, that's not the same thing now. Like what they're literally saying is like having a meeting where they say, this is just how the company has to run, is that crunch is just a thing that you're going to have to do. And if you don't want to do it, you have to get out. But then saying, oh, but it's not, it's incentivized in bonuses. I'm like, yeah, people can decide not to.
I mean,
have a bonus.
Legally, they can decide not to. We know that's probably not quite true.
I mean, if call it like, there's the thing about your company culture not supporting that kind of behavior. But if it's like, right, if everybody in there is drinking the Flavor Aid and they're all like, right, I want to, all of us need to crunch, and Tommy's not fucking crunching, so let's put a bag over his head and beat him to death with a hammer. It's like, I guess that's company culture.
No,
like,
you don't do it that way. You just ostracize them, and
or you just, or it's just like you have the amount of work that you have to do is an amount that there's no way you could do on the normal amount of time.
You tell them things like that they're not doing so great compared to everybody else, or like some other kind of stupid thing.
We know that. We feel like you're not really a team player.
Yeah, stuff like that.
so
You don't beat people with hammers. That's evidence.
no, you unionize is what you do.
Use inflatable hammers because it's different. You can hide those.
Anyway.
Or knives made of ice because those will melt and therefore perfect crime, according to like 2 TV shows.
Apparently is in the context of this is that it has been reported that Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet has missed a bunch of internal deadlines. And one thing, the other thing that this guy is talking about is that he says that like Naughty Dog has this habit of treating an internal deadline as an external deadline, like being like, okay, we want to get this done by the end of the month or whatever, and then it's like we actually we have to get this done by the end of the month, and people are like, but we don't have to.
Yeah, you didn't already start delivering stuff to.
It's like we just said that was the internal deadline for doing it, and it looks like we're gonna miss that. But us completely destroying ourselves making that deadline, we don't need to do that if it's just an internal deadline,
because it doesn't change anything.
That's what internal deadlines are for. They're to help you keep up with doing certain things, and so that you can make those. This is just basic goal setting. You put down a thing that seems reasonable, and when stuff you flex it.
But to lock into that, Anyway.
God, people are dumb.
So anyway, we'll see how hopefully Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet is apparently it's missed some internal deadlines. That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
That's not a bad thing. That's
one would argue that the problem is not that that's that we've missed a bunch of internal it's the two. It's like we either we missed a bunch of internal deadlines or the game isn't making as much money as we projected. Right, and it's like, yeah, but is the problem that either the internal deadline was stupid, or is or the other, is the problem that you projected a stupid amount of money? The problem isn't that the people making the game are doing a bad job or that the game is bad or whatever. The problem is higher up the chain. It's like if you make a stupid deadline and then are mad that people don't meet the deadline, that's on you.
I haven't been able to buy a new yacht this year, and if they don't make my game soon, I won't be able to buy my new yacht, and then I'll look silly when I go to all the places where people hang out with yachts, which I'm assuming is in the middle of an ocean or a lake somewhere. I would add that why rush this game, Naughty Dog? There's no point. You might as well treat your employees better, because GTA 6 is coming out on every day for the next 7 years. It'll be coming out.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Everyone is delaying their games so they don't come out with GTA 6, and that could be any time in the next 25 years. So don't release any more games.
Also, Beach, the hotness now is a street yacht because the oceans won't exist.
Hell yeah, street yachts.
Street yachts.
I actually, you
gotta watch out for the street sharks.
I did want to put this out there, because GTA 6, because there's been a bunch of articles about now that apparently GTA 6 is locked in terms of when it's coming out. Although they delayed it once already, but
they haven't told anybody exactly. They just know that they decide they know when it's coming out.
No, I think they have. They have an actual release date.
Is it a release date or window? Not to say that those are exclusive, but
I think November or autumn 2026, I believe, is the.
Okay, so later this year.
Yeah. So I want to say that, so I'm starting to get kind of frustrated about this like
Attitude?
this attitude of like GTA 6 is going to be coming out, so let's avoid it.
Yeah.
Especially when it keeps moving, they've delayed it and moved it around and stuff, so you can't really avoid it that easily. But also, it's like, what if we all just say, like, I might want to buy and play GTA 6.
Mm-hmm.
I will pledge now, I will not buy it the first month it comes out.
I mean, that's easy for me to say because I probably won't buy it at all.
But like, I'm not saying that I will buy your game.
Right.
But whether or not GTA has come out in that month will not affect my decision as to whether to buy a game or not.
Right.
And it's like, it's okay. Yeah, a lot of people will probably be playing GTA 6, but not everybody.
Yeah.
There's lots of other there's lots of other things, and you don't have to, I don't know, tie yourself in knots about this.
Kind of like watching people get fear through hype, right? Like, it's because you don't make that decision lightly. You don't decide to delay your game out of for fun.
Yeah,
it costs money when you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And which makes it, I think, even harder if you constantly end up having to delay your game because GTA keeps moving to the spot that you thought it was safe to go to.
If we lived in a world where we had universal basic income, right? Or we just let's just say it's post salaries. Like, we're just post needing money, right? If we lived in a world where people were just like, I just want to make a thing and then we're going to release it. The company works together, right? The team works together, because you probably don't even need a company, but maybe you do, who knows? The whole team works together to make a thing, and they're like, we made this thing, and then you would release it into the world. If you released it on the same day, like you make your new game and you release it on the same day that this massive game everybody is waiting for to come out comes out, I'm sure there's still that sense of, just in the sense of, well, who's going to get that game and who's going to play whatever. There's probably going to be people who
and
will...
there's like the hype cycle and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
You might be like, oh, that nobody saw my game come out because GTA 6 came out. Just divorcing the whole thing from money. It's just the idea that this thing I worked very hard on for the last 3 years has been eclipsed by this thing that everyone's been waiting for the last 10. So I understand that.
Okay.
But also, it doesn't... It shouldn't mean that now no one will play your thing, because you did release it and you let people know about it, and if you talk about it and people are willing to talk, there's probably going to be a lot of GTA 6 content on websites as well, but I have a feeling that other people are feeling the same way, where it's like, what if we also, on the day of this release, also pay attention to a lot of other things getting released that are not in the GTA category? What if we did try to actually like promote some other games and push that narrative
there are
forward
definitely
too?
groups that are doing that.
Yeah, and like I just saw Lord Zerano said like Devolver's releasing a game on purpose at the exact same time GTA 6 is coming out.
Of course they are.
Yeah,
I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's mostly just Devolver being weird.
Yeah, and it's like,
I like that
because they want to lean into that, and I'm like, actually, I think that would be great if a lot of other companies said, you know what, we're releasing our game, which happens to be nothing. It's nothing like a GTA game at all. We're releasing our game at the same time the GTA is coming out, because maybe some of you don't want to play that, so we are going to do that. That is the idea, and wait for that. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that is the answer.
I mean, the truth is, if they're going to release something in the fall, you're getting very close to the winter months there. A lot of people release a lot of high budget games in that time period.
Sure.
So don't worry, Paul.
Yeah.
GTA 6 won't be the only thing released that day.
Sorry, as a side note, just I love the idea, like this hypothetical that you propose. It's like, say, we're in a post-scarcity society or whatever.
Money is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for some reason, a game called Grand Theft Auto is still the most... people are like, what? I don't understand this game. I mean, why am I stealing things? I'm stealing money? What's money?
It's still the idea of,
I don't understand this concept of theft. Why don't they just give each other the cars?
Public property versus private property versus personal property. It's like, you can, in a socialist world, you are allowed to own things. You're allowed to have stuff that belongs to you.
I enjoy this idea of Grand Gift Auto.
Yeah.
I mean,
strictly
like this too.
speaking, that's kind of how Grand Theft Auto works.
Yeah, you just
Like,
take people's cars
just-
and you leave them somewhere for somebody else.
And people don't seem to be that annoyed that you take their car.
Yeah, a little
They're
mad.
just like,
I was on my way somewhere, dude. Now I got to steal a car. God damn it. That would be funny. Actually, I think it would be funny if somebody made a GTA game where what you did is playing as somebody. The moment you steal a car and then drive away, the game switches to the person who just got their car stolen, and that's who you play now.
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen in GTA games that you get your car stolen.
Nice.
Like, you can just be like doing something. Either sometimes you like steal somebody's car and not drive away fast enough, but also just it'll just happen. A guy will like run up, pull you out of the car, and then drive off. You'll
Sick.
be like,
Great idea.
now I have to steal another
Yeah,
car.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like I also don't. I mean, again, GTA 6 is not a game on my radar because it's not a thing I'm interested in. There's very rarely games I buy the day they come out to play though.
That's the other thing
like
is
I
that
just
like
don't.
maybe
I'm usually in the middle of something when something cool comes out. I'm like, I want to play that, but I'm still partway through this thing, and I just need to finish it first.
yeah, and I think that's part of it too. Is that it's like part of why I sort of get annoyed and sort of this. I mean, I understand it, but like I find it difficult to get that because my relationship with most video games is, even if it's a game that I'm really excited about, as you say, I'll be playing something else when it comes. I'll be playing something else when it comes out, or I'll be doing stuff, and so I'll be like, oh, cool, that's out. I will play that next, or whatever. And so, like, the precise day that it comes out just doesn't really matter that much. But I mean, I guess if you've got like a bunch of friends who are also getting it at the same time, and you want to play through it together.
Again, there are times where I do buy a game the day it comes out and I play it right away. And generally, it is going to be a game that maybe all my friends are playing, or it just, there are exceptions. If a new Zelda game hits, I'm probably going to buy that immediately and play it. But for the most part, I'm in the middle of something else. I'll get to that when I get to it.
Exactly. All right. Well, finally, do you want to be in Hideo Kojima's next game?
Oh, doing what?
Are we doing that whole scanning thing again? Because we did that last week and I said no.
So the Hideo Kojima is obviously they're working on. He's working on a new game. I believe it's called Fizzant. Is the
Oh
title,
yeah, I heard
whatever.
this mentioned the other day.
And not to, let's say, stereotype or put Hideo Kojima in a box,
Or some sort of weird tube that's filled with like liquid.
but the casting for this, so people found the like casting call for this
Okay.
is looking for a Mads Mikkelsen in Hannibal with flair.
Good
What?
Christ.
Mads Mikkelsen, by the way, was in was the villain of Death Stranding.
Yeah, Mads is like Hideo Kojima's best friend now. They like hang out all the time and
Doesn't
stuff.
that mean he already has somebody who could do this?
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe I think maybe
not friends
by
anymore?
maybe by SAG rules. If they're hiring a union, right? That maybe by SAG rules, it's like, oh, I have to actually advertise this as open audition.
Oh.
Although I have heard from like you see like actors talking about how they lose parts that are like
To them,
or yeah, like I remember like John Cleese talking about how there's a lot of things that are like looking for a John Cleese type,
yes,
but they don't want to hire him.
right? Because who wants to fucking work with John Cleese?
Well, apparently he's old and grumpy, so
Yeah, exactly.
people don't like him. Or see, he actually is kind of hard to work with.
Don't want to put up with his bullshit.
wow.
So yeah,
But they want that, or the same thing, like the idea that like we want a this type, and then that person goes for the part and they don't get it.
if it was me, if I was a casting director, I would be doing some really seriously underhanded shit. Like it'd be like, I have to pick a random comedian here.
Seth
Okay,
Meyers.
George Carlin's dead. Yeah, so maybe I'll do this. And I don't mean this, but it's like, we need a George Carlin type, but back when he was funny. You do that kind of thing to really like, but you do it with live actors to really piss them off. To be like, what do you mean? Back when I was like, we want a Harrison Ford type, but back when he was attractive, you're like, what do you mean I'm not attractive?
Sort of like a negging equivalent.
Yes, just kind of be really shitty about it.
People who are actually still funny.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, that was
or whoever.
Oh God.
I think Josh would find that pretty funny.
Yeah, he probably would.
That was Seth MacFarlane basically did that to Liam Neeson.
Really?
That there was a cutaway gag in a Family Guy of like, that would be like Liam Neeson being in a Western, and it cuts to a cutaway gag of somebody doing a Liam Neeson impression, doing like being a cowboy, but like with Liam Neeson's
cadence
and like Irish accent.
Yeah.
And sounding really bad. Then Seth MacFarlane did 100 Ways to Die in the West or whatever.
Yeah.
With Liam Neeson as the villain cowboy.
Nice.
And apparently that part of it was that he got his attention by doing that. And he was like, oh yeah? Screw you. I can be a cowboy.
I would posit, because Marquette said Charlie Chaplin entered and lost to Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest, that if you're entering a lookalike contest, then you are automatically disqualified because you don't. You don't look alike.
Yeah.
But also, I just think that's funny.
I really like it when celebrities show up to lookalike contests to just kind of see what's going. Because like Timothy Chalamet did the same thing. I think in New York they were doing a whole like Timothy Chalamet lookalike thing, and he was in New York that weekend, so he dropped in just to see what was going on. Mm-hmm. He didn't participate, I don't think. Somebody did ask them like, "Did you participate?" He's like, "No, I couldn't do that."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you end up losing a lookalike contest regardless, because what people end up trying to do is find the thing that makes them think of you.
Exactly.
And just you on a regular day might not be the thing that makes people think of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I also think you should be disqualified because you're not a lookalike.
Mm-hmm. Oh, would Beej lose a Beej lookalike contest? We'll have to hold one whenever we have another LurkCon.
We could do one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You lose to somebody just holding up a picture of your face.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, sure. We could do one for a LurkCon, but we could probably do it as a live bit. We've pretended to be each other before.
That's true. Yeah.
I think I made a very convincing James.
I mean, it's always fun on like SNL when you have celebrities playing, or pretending, doing impressions of other celebrities.
Oh yeah,
especially celebrities that are like either equivalently or sometimes even less famous celebrities than they are.
Yeah,
which always feels slightly odd.
Yeah, like Robert De Niro comes on and he does somebody who's like kind of like a mid-tier. Everybody kind of knows this person because they've seen him in stuff, and it's like you're Robert De Niro. It's like, yeah, but I got a really killer like, I don't know, like blank person, like whoever it is, impressions like you do. Holy shit.
Anyway, that's all the news that we have to talk about today.
It's a pretty good news week, I think.
We should get out of here.
And if you haven't seen this week's episode of ChillPoint, you should go do that. It's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. And if you want to become a member of that channel, you'll get your name in the credits at the end, which is pretty nice. You can tell this week's because it's called Explosive Fart.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I got to name it.
Yeah. That is a good
name. I typically name the episodes, actually. So.
And, of course, you can support us here on Twitch or helping us out on Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or buying stuff in the store, all that good stuff. But for now, we will say goodbye.